All right, man, we wanted to have a quick segment here, just talking about the best players available. We've got a few teams that have some remaining needs, either via injury or just not getting there from a team building perspective. There's always some big name or somewhat big name free agents available. Doesn't mean they're always great. Doesn't mean they're still good. The big names maybe from 3 or 4 years ago. But I want to start with receivers. A couple names out there. Amari Cooper, who played for a couple teams last year. Gabe Davis got released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's still out there. Odell Beckham Jr. is still out there, despite the fake rumors out there that he had retired.
He's pissed off if people keep texting him, happy retirement. He's not retired.
Did you tweet at him, happy retirement?
I thought about it after I thought about replying to that tweet.
I think a lot of people went after that. Nelson Aguilar's out there, Tyler Boyd, Jarvis Landry, Kadarius Toney as well. One team that does come to mind, or we'll mention a couple, but the San Francisco 49ers dealing with various injuries. Kyle Shanahan said Brandon Ayuk, who's coming off of his ACL, probably out at least the first 6 weeks. I saw our friend Dr. David Chow talking about, hey, that's optimistic. Might be a little bit later than that. So Ayuk's injured.
When did he do his ACL?
Middle of last year?
Yeah.
Late last year?
Feels like a long time, no?
I'll have to check it. We got Juwan Jennings still with his little contract dispute, and Jordan Watkins is out for a month with a high ankle sprain. Just a lot of depth issues here for the San Francisco 49ers. The other team, other teams specifically to mention, Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if they're looking, and I don't know if they're pulling from this group for their wide receiver too, but DK Metcalf, clear number one in a battle for wide receiver two with veteran Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, Scott Miller's there. Scotty Miller?
Scott, yeah.
And then Roman Wilson, who I would think is the favorite. But
I mean, he's the guy they want to win that job.
They want him to win it, but he's a third-rounder, missed all of last year. Pretty high expectations. Aaron Rodgers already saying, yeah, Roman's got to get out of his own head. That's his way of saying, come on, man, get on the same page as me. You're talented.
Right.
So the Steelers are another interesting team, and they did host Gabe Davis on June 5th and did not sign him.
Yeah, and Rodgers also, he made the point of saying that he's spectacularly talented. Like,
yeah.
he hit both sides of that thing. But, yeah,
Rodgers doesn't have the best recent history of breaking in the youngsters either.
Not just recent history. I mean, I think throughout his career, it's always been kind of a problem that it takes a while for Rodgers to get immediate comfort with a guy. I mean, so much of his game was built off that telepathy with various receivers that we talked about with, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. last year did not have that. Aaron Rodgers developed it consistently with a bunch of receivers, but it didn't happen right away. With each one of them, it took them a while or a transition period. And the problem is when you reach the end of his career, and it's like, okay, you get a year with the Jets effectively. 1 year lost to the Achilles, but you get a year, and now you get a year with Pittsburgh. Like, you don't have time to do that anymore. You don't have the runway to build that over 2 years. You got to hit the ground running and get these guys on the same page immediately, and that might be a problem for him.
Are there any names that do intrigue you on that list? And really quick, just like receiver history-wise, I do feel like of all the positions, we've seen a lot of offensive linemen play into their late 30s, and I don't want to say it's a less athletic position, but you don't know when a guy loses a step as cleanly on offensive line as you do at receiver. We see edge rushers and pass rushers generally, or defensive tackles, still able to contribute into their mid to late 30s. Calais Campbell, right? We saw Dwight Freeney still rushing the passer late in his career. Ndamukong Suh, right? We see all these players still contribute, even if they're not what they used to be. But at receiver, it is really tough. Right, Larry Fitzgerald was a good name, like a guy that was still good and could be a high volume possession receiver, but it wasn't the same at the end of his career. It's very difficult for receivers to just hang on and be big time contributors. Is there anybody available that does make sense to you? Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
Gabe Davis, I think, is a relatively one-dimensional receiver, but I think he's still a good receiver if you're missing that particular skill set, that vertical skill set. I think Amari Cooper can still play. Now, maybe he's lost something from his best play, but I think if you have a weak receiving core, I think Amari Cooper could absolutely improve it and become a part of your group. Mike Renner had a tweet that sort of highlights the relative recent run of receivers falling off fast when they hit that age. He had a tweet that was basically Terry McLaurin. It was McLaurin related, but he turns 30 in September. And then he says the age of the last 1,000-yard season for all recent high-end wide receivers. For Nuke Hopkins, it was 31. For Julio Jones, it was 30. For Antonio Brown, it was 30. For A.J. Green, it was 29. For Amari Cooper, it's been 29. Keenan Allen, 31. Cooper Kupp, 28. Devontae Adams, 32. Mike Evans, 32. So it's not been a great run for receivers still being, super productive once they hit that kind of 30 threshold, and that's what a lot of these contracts are battling against. Or, you're hoping that somebody bucks the trend.
It's a rough group. Where's Devontae Adams in there?
32.
Was he over 1,000 last year? That's last year, I think.
So.
Last year for him and Mike Evans.
And Evans, they had to feed him the ball right at the end to get him over that number to keep the streak alive.
Jerry Rice, Mike Evans.
But
think about
Jerry
some of
Rice. Guys used to be. Forget Jerry Rice because the guy's a freak. But T.O. was 37 or something and still good. Like the league got sick of T.O. before T.O. stopped being productive.
But we said Randy Moss, as soon as the Patriots traded him in 2010, just starts bouncing around the league
and
was
basically done.
Looks like a shell of himself. Julio Jones was the same thing, right? I mean, goes to Tennessee. He was in Tampa Bay. Where else did he stop on his way out? Did he go to Philly
I don't even remember.
For a little bit? I mean, this is what I mean. There's nondescript finishes to their career where they just were unable to do anything.
But T.O. had 1,000 yards at 35, and at 37 was only 20 yards shy of it.
There's a few freaks out there. I think OBJ hasn't looked the same the last couple of years. Was in Miami last year, and again, once injuries start creeping in, and or you just start losing a step. Amari Cooper is the one I did think he might make an impact for Buffalo last year. And there was a few games here and there I thought there'd be more, just like I thought there'd be a little bit more from DeAndre Hopkins down the stretch last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. And you just see it in spurts. So I think if you're describing what can these guys bring to the table, most of the time it's inconsistency. There's spurts of good play. There's a little bit of depth. I don't know if any of these guys are, saving the 49ers early season or anything. Plus, they've got, some youth to rely upon. Davis is he's different here, right? I mean, he's younger than all these other players.
Yeah.
You're not fearful of him losing a step, but I'm with you. If you need a straight-up vertical threat, Gabe Davis can do that. The problem is he went to Jacksonville and got paid to be a true number 2 receiver, which I don't think he ever was.
No, and that I wonder, some of these are kind of guys right on the scrap heap, and some of these they have a contract, number that nobody's willing to meet yet. So I wonder if that's the issue with Gabe Davis is less, there's no interest in him and more not at that number.
So yeah, I think, so there are some receivers available. None of them are terribly exciting for me. We'll see what ends up happening with the Niners if they do have to bring someone in to stitch it together. I don't know if the Steelers, I don't know, maybe Amari Cooper would be interesting as a pretty good route runner opposite DK Metcalf with Aaron Rodgers if none of those other guys really step up there. I don't know if there's enough there from those players. The Chiefs with the Rashee Rice injury, potential suspension coming up, and Marquise Brown being banged up, they might need some depth.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's a receiving core there for Kansas City. It's just going to be like last year where they have to figure out what it looks like as they go.
Yeah, and Rashee Rice, if he gets suspended 6 games or whatever it is, that we don't know exactly what's going to happen there. He'll still be coming back. I don't think he's gone for the season. So, I don't know if there's anyone else that really needs any of those other receivers, to be honest.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit this subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
The all-knowing algorithm is convinced that you'll like these videos as well, and frankly, who are we to argue?